Before we start our video today, we are going to ask everyone to subscribe to this channel, of which we will be defining populism. We have heard a term that Poilievre is a populist leader. You remember that infamous interview which Pierre Poilievre was eating an apple while talking to a journalist, munching an apple on live TV, showing disrespect to the journalist. And he was told by that journalist, "You are a populist leader." Says, "Can you explain which one? Why do you say so?" And he was showing a lot of arrogance in that video. Before we dip into this, defining what is populism and why do we say Pierre Poilievre is a populist, we are asking you to subscribe and we'll walk you through what is populism and why do we say Pierre Poilievre is a populist. So is Donald Trump in the United States. Pierre is now being tied to Trumpism in his politics. In this video, we are talking about Poilievre is a populist leader. We are going to try and define what populism is and what are the tenets and what are the basic facts about populism. What is populism? We've heard this term being thrown around a lot in recent years. South of the border, we have heard about Trump being a populist leader. Populism is a thin-centered ideology which frames society or which views society as being fundamentally divided into two antagonistic groups: the common man, you and me, and the corrupt elite. Populism views is the thinking that says that politics should be an expression of the general will of the people. From this perspective, the government's job is to carry out people's wishes. Populism actors claim to be speaking on the behalf of the people. Populist leaders, it's sometimes intertwined with the demagoguery. They tend to be demagogues, these populist leaders. During the campaign of Donald Trump, we heard things like, "They are trying to get me out of the way so that they can get to you. I won't let them get me out of the way so that they can get to you." We heard statements like, "I am your retribution. I am your protectors." So this is what populist leaders tend to say. They view themselves as speaking for the people, as being the voice for the people. And they delegitimize institution and media coverage of the government systems. Populism by itself cannot offer answers to political questions. It is intertwined with other ideologies. You can be a populist who is conservative. Like Donald Trump, we heard him in the last election being the voice of the forgotten. He was saying the middle class, white males have been a forgotten group. And this is how populists sometimes appeal to people. At the same time, populism is not a political ideology on itself. Actually, populism can cut across. It's not a right-wing ideology. It's not a left-wing ideology. It tends to transcend the political spectrum. Populism changes shape depending on the local politics and cultural conditions. Populism ideology transcends ideology. It is not tied to a single political belief system. In Europe, it is exclusionary. It targets minorities. And Latin America, it is inclusionary. It mobilizes into social groups. In the United States, it appears across political spectrum. You can be a Democrat being a populist, and you can be a Republican being a populist. And one of the most prominent populist leaders to come along has been Donald Trump in recent years in the United States, who is on the right. He's a Republican politician who has become a populist leader. Fundamentally, they see society as divided into these two antagonistic groups: the common man on one side and the corrupt elite. If you followed the entire campaign of Donald Trump in the United States, you would find that it was like the corrupt Democrats who are destroying our country. Infamous political speech of Donald Trump in New York, which was filled with demagoguery. Like he actually represented himself as a demagogue, in which he was saying like, they want me out of the way so that they can get you. I want to get out of the way is to protect you. I'm the protector of the people. I'm your retribution. This is some of the things we hear with these populist leaders. Fundamentally, populism is these two antagonistic groups. They view society as having these two antagonistic groups, the common man and the corrupt elite. In the United States, it appears across political spectrum, but more on the right-wing politician, leaders like Donald Trump. In Canada, two political leaders, Maxime Bernier, and who is of the People's Party of Canada, abbreviated PPC. And then we have Pierre Poilievre of CPC, Conservative Party of Canada. They observe a rhetorical use of the populist discourse when they are presenting their speeches. They claim to be this representing the common man and the corrupt elite, want to take power. Like Donald Trump, and I keep on referring to Donald Trump because I enthusiastically followed his campaign during the previous election, where he was saying like, we want to take back our country. Taking back from who? What makes Pierre Poilievre a populist leader? He backed Freedom Convoy, framing it as a stand for personal liberty and standing as a resistance to the liberal government insurrection group that was occupying downtown core. He stood with them, delivering coffee to them, as I said in the other video. In his narrow thinking of Pierre Poilievre, he sees them as a resistance to the liberal government. This is what populist leaders always say, that the common man versus the corrupt elite. Poilievre stated that protests were an emergency that Justin Trudeau created by attacking his own population. Poilievre, during the Freedom Convoy, the truckers who occupied downtown Ottawa, the downtown core, and disrupted businesses and lives, and some of them who ended up being charged after the invocation of emergency powers. Poilievre stated that protests were an emergency that Justin Trudeau created by attacking his own population, by driving up the cost of living and by making it impossible for people to pay for their bills. Hence, this necessitated the protest. But protests, they have to be done with civility and in a way that doesn't disrupt society, that doesn't negate laws and order. Because the Freedom Convoy occupied the downtown core and made life a hell, and certain businesses had to close during the entire period. This Freedom Convoy was an insurrection. The government had to evoke emergency powers as to deal with that situation, which was getting out of hand. This wasn't an ordinary protest. Contemporary economic pressures in Canada have created a fertile ground for populist rhetoric, particularly among the young people, who majority of them supported Pierre in the last election, and some of them they are still supporting. And the middle class Canadians facing financial insecurity and home ownership, which has become increasingly unattainable. Populist rhetoric in Canada has been centered around the language of freedom from the elite, an anti-establishment message. So from heard X the tax, bring it home, take back control, which packages an anti-establishment message. From Donald Trump, we had take back our country. The populist discourse is less on policy and more of emotional resonance. As I said from the beginning, they tend to be demagogues, these populist leaders, just like Donald Trump in the last campaign, just like Hitler when he was persecuting all those sort of people. They are destroying our country. You are poor because of that one man, that who doesn't look like you. This is what populist leaders do. There is demagoguery embedded in their message. They tend to be demagogues. Populist discourse is less on policy, more on emotional resonance. They appeal to your emotions. They don't give you the policy. They will say, bring it home. Bring what home? Take back control. What control? Taking back our country. From who? They want me out of the way so that they can get to you, and I won't get out of the way so that they won't get to you. This is demagoguery. That's what populist leaders always do. This rhetoric transforms economic institutional grievances into freedom versus control. Remember, fundamentally it's divided into common men, the common people, versus the corrupt elite. Like recently we had Pierre showing a video on YouTube showing the Liberals MP walking by, and he says, these are the people who are driving your grocery prices up. Populist discourse is less on policy, because Pierre is not telling us what sort of policy he is going to institute, but it's more on emotional resonance. It's appealing to your emotions. He wants you to be angry, to vote with anger, to vote with emotions. No, I can't afford groceries because it's the Liberals. Now putting X on Poilievre and his MPs. He is inviting people to feel empowered. This rhetoric transforms economic and institutional grievances into freedom versus control. We thank you for watching this video. Hit the subscription button, crush it, smash it, like this video, turn the notification button, and we'll give you more of these videos.